The blade sank into my back like a lover's whisper turned venomous, and I crumpled to the marble floor of our family penthouse, Emily's manicured hand still gripping the hilt as her lips curled in that triumphant smile I'd always mistaken for sisterly affection. Darkness rushed in, thick and final, carrying the echo of her voice. You had it all, Chloe. Now it's mine. But death wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me awake in my old queen bed on Fifth Avenue, sheets tangled around me like chains from a life I thought I'd escaped. 3 months before the wedding. 3 months before she'd seat me with the waitstaff like yesterday's trash and plunge that knife, literal and figurative, into everything I'd built. This time, I wouldn't bleed for her dreams. I'd make her choke on them. I bolted upright, heart hammering like a jackhammer on concrete, the kind of pounding that makes you taste copper even without the wound. My room hadn't changed. The walk-in closet stuffed with designer labels I'd clawed my way into affording. The vanity mirror reflecting a face 28 years young again, unscarred and unweary. But my mind, it was a war zone, replaying the last timeline in high-def horror. Emily, my baby sister, the golden child who'd always played the victim card like a pro, had orchestrated it all. I'd poured every dime from my tech startup sale into her dream wedding. $2 million for the Hamptons venue, the custom Vera Wang gown, the A-list band that cost more than most people's houses. Why? Because mom and dad's divorce had left them broke, scraping by on alimony scraps, and Emily's wide-eyed pleas about starting her life right hit me right in the guilt bone. I'd been the big sister, the fixer, the one who dropped out of Yale to code apps while she partied through Parsons on my loans. In that other life, the wedding had been flawless. Guests in black tie, champagne towers fizzing like fireworks. But when the seating chart dropped, there I was, tucked at a wobbly table by the kitchen doors with the servers, trays clattering past me, elbows in my face, while Emily preened at the head table with her Wall Street groom, Jake, and their Ivy League crew. Oh, Chloe, it's just logistics, she'd cooed over the phone, her voice syrupy with fake regret. Your family, but the servers need a spot too. I'd swallowed it, of course, laughed it off with a toast that burned my throat, even as the humiliation festered. 2 weeks later, back in the city, she'd lured me to the penthouse with promises of a sister spa night. That's when the knife came out, twisted by her hand after she'd drugged my wine. Turns out, the inheritance from Dad's estate wasn't just money. It was the patent for my AI algorithm, the one that made me a millionaire overnight. Emily had forged docs, siphoned funds, and when I confronted her post-wedding, she ended it. Clean. For the lawyers, it looked like a botched robbery. For me, it was fratricide wrapped in sibling rivalry. Now, staring at my reflection, hazel eyes sharp, no shadows under them yet, I felt the rage coil like a spring in my gut. This wasn't some cosmic joke. It was a second chance to rewrite the script. No more playing martyr. Emily wanted my empire. She'd get it in ruins. I grabbed my phone, fingers flying over the screen. First call, my lawyer, Harlan, the shark who'd handled the startup exit. Chloe? It's 6 a.m. Everything okay? Better than ever, I said, voice steady as steel. I need you to bury some paperwork. Retroactively. Make it look like the patent transfer never happened. And pull every financial thread on Emily's accounts. Loans, credit lines, the works. He paused, the old fox sensing blood. You got it. But why the rush? Because I'm done being the punchline. By noon, I'd showered off the phantom blood, slipped into jeans and a cashmere sweater, casual armor, and hit the streets of Manhattan. The city buzzed like it always did. Yellow cabs honking at jaywalkers, steam rising from manhole covers, the scent of halal carts cutting through the chill December air. But everything felt sharper, edges honed by hindsight. I stopped at my favorite coffee spot on Bleecker, ordered a black Americano, and watched the barista, some kid with tattoos snaking up his arms, steam milk like his life depended on it. That's when the first text pinged. Mom. Darling, Emily's fittings are divine. Can't wait for you to see. Dinner tonight? I typed back. Wouldn't miss it. Tell Em I'll bring the checkbook. Sarcasm dripped, but she wouldn't catch it. Mom never did. Divorced from Dad a decade ago over his affairs, which, in my reborn clarity, I now knew were Emily's planted lies to secure her allowance. She'd become Emily's enabler-in-chief, blind to the venom brewing under that porcelain doll facade. Dinner was at our old haunt, Le Bernardin, seafood cathedral with prices that could fund a small nation. Emily arrived late, of course, sweeping in like a storm in Louboutins, her blonde waves cascading just so. Chloe, big sis, you look rested. Her hug was perfunctory, all air kisses and Chanel No. 5. Mom beamed from the booth, her Botox-smooth face crinkling at the edges. Girls, isn't this perfect? Emily's glowing. We ordered seared scallops for her, the tasting menu for me. Small talk flowed, her wedding registry exploding with Look Cruise It, Jake's promotion at Goldman. But I watched her really watched. The way her fingers drummed the stem of her wine glass, betraying nerves. In the old timeline, I'd missed that. Now, it screamed guilt. So, the seating chart, I said casually, spearing a oyster. Heard you're finalizing it. Save me a spot up front. I shelled out for the whole shebang. Emily's fork paused mid-air, a flicker in her blue eyes, gone in a blink. Oh, honey, it's chaos. 200 guests, you know? But your family. I'll figure something. Mom chimed in, oblivious. Chloe's always so generous. Remember when she paid for your Europe trip after Parsons? What a saint. Emily's smile tightened. Yeah, Saint Chloe. She sipped her Chardonnay, and I swear I saw the calculation. How much longer till she snaps? I didn't. Not yet. Instead, I leaned in, voice low. Speaking of generous, I met with Harlan today, tidying up the estate stuff. Dad's patent. It's ironclad now. Can't touch it. Her laugh was brittle, like autumn leaves underfoot. Good for you. Jake says patents are boring anyway. But her eyes? They were daggers. Round 1, Chloe. The weeks blurred into a calculated frenzy. By day, I played the dutiful sister. Wire transfers for the florist's exotic orchids, calls to the officiant, a trendy rabbi for that inclusive vibe, even approving the cake, 7 tiers of red velvet, enough to induce diabetic comas. Emily lapped it up, her texts a barrage of emojis, and you're the best. By night, I dismantled her web. Harlan uncovered the forgeries. Emily had backdated loans against my accounts, siphoned $300K for bridal consultations that were really blackjack binges in Atlantic City. Worse, the secret buried deepest, the one that had festered since Dad's suicide 5 years back. I'd always thought it was depression, pills washed down with scotch in his study. But in the death haze, Emily had confessed. She'd swapped his antidepressants for fentanyl-laced fakes, framing his affair partner, me, unknowingly, via planted emails, to tank his will in her favor. Dad hadn't killed himself. She'd murdered him for the penthouse deed. And I'd paid for her therapy sessions afterward, the ones where she processed her grief. Rage? It was a living thing now, coiled in my chest. But revenge isn't sloppy, it's surgical. I hired a PI, low-key ex-fed named Ruiz, to tail her. Photos piled up, Emily at underground poker dens, cozying up to shady financiers, even a rendezvous with Jake's best man. A quickie in the coat room at some gala. Blackmail gold. And the twist? Jake knew. Emails from the old timeline resurfaced in my mind. His sign-off on the patent grab. They were in it together, power couple from hell. As the wedding loomed, rehearsal dinner in 2 days, I made my move. Anonymous tip to Jake's boss at Goldman. Check the offshore accounts. Your star analyst's laundering bridal funds. Nothing lethal, just enough to make him sweat. Emily called that night, voice edged with panic. Chloe, what's this about Jake getting audited? You didn't. Me? I feigned shock, lounging on my velvet chaise with a glass of Malbec. Sounds rough. Weddings are stressful. Hey, about that seating chart. She deflected, but the seed was planted. Paranoia would do the rest. Rehearsal dinner. Cipriani's, Wall Street opulence with vaulted ceilings and enough crystal to blind you. Emily in a pre-wedding sheath, Jake fidgeting in his Tom Ford tux. Mom fluttered like a moth, Dad's ghost, or rather, his absence, hanging heavy. I arrived fashionably late, in emerald silk that hugged like a second skin, color of envy, fitting. The head table was set, Emily and Jake center, their entourage flanking. My name card, tucked at the loser's end, next to the sommelier and a cousin twice removed who snored through toasts. I didn't sit. Instead, I plucked the card, held it aloft like a flag of surrender. Conversations hushed. Emily's eyes widened, busted. Chloe, what? She started, but I cut her off, voice carrying like a mic drop. Looks like I'm crashing the big kids' table. After all, I paid for the damn thing. Gasps rippled. Mom's hand flew to her pearls. Jake shifted, his boyish charm cracking. Babe, it's just logistics. I finished, sliding into Emily's reserved spot with a grace that screamed fuck you. Yeah, I know the line. The dinner dragged, tension thick as fog off the Hudson. Toasts flew. Jake's dad on family legacies. Emily's bridesmaids on soulmates. My turn came, glass raised, smile sharp as a stiletto. To Emily, I said, locking eyes with her across the linen. For teaching me that blood isn't thicker than ink. And that some debts? They get called in with interest. Silence. Then polite clinks, but the room buzzed. Emily's face? Ashen, her fork trembling as she pushed peas around her plate. Later, in the powder room, she cornered me. Mirror fogged from our breaths, her whisper venomous. What the hell was that? You're ruining everything. I turned, slow, letting her see the steel in my gaze. Ruining? Sweetie, I'm just getting started. Remember Dad? The accident. I do now. Her breath hitched, color draining. You don't know. I know enough. The fentanyl switch. The emails. All for the penthouse you sleep in rent-free. I stepped closer, voice a hiss. Play nice at the wedding, or I call the cops mid-vows. Your call. She crumpled against the sink, mascara threatening tracks. Chloe, please. I was desperate. Jake and I, we needed the money. For what? Your shoe collection or his coke habit? Ruiz's photos burned in my mind. TikTok M. Smile for the cameras tomorrow. I left her there, a ghost in lace, and slipped into the night. Adrenaline sang in my veins, first blood drawn, clean and cold. Wedding day dawned crisp, the kind of Hampton's blue sky perfection that screams money. The estate sprawled like a Gatsby wet dream, manicured lawns rolling to the Atlantic, white tints billowing, string quartet sawing Vivaldi. Guests milled in pastels and seersucker, air perfumed with peonies and privilege. I watched from the bridal suite window, nursing a mimosa that tasted like victory. Emily paced below, veil trailing like a surrender flag, Jake chain smoking on the veranda. Mom fussed with boutonnieres, oblivious as ever. My gown. Couture black velvet, off-shoulder and floor-length, morning chic, because this was a funeral for her facade. Harlan had texted. Audit launched. Patent locked. And the cherry? A discreet envelope for the officiant. Contingency vows. Read if prompted. The ceremony was theater. Emily gliding down the aisle on Dad's surrogate arm. Some uncle. Jake beaming like he'd won the lottery. Vows exchanged. Rings slipped. Picture perfect. I sat front row, left side, the family pew, my presence a thorn in her side. Then the recessional. As they turned to march back, beaming at the applause, I stood. Slow. Deliberate. The quartet faltered mid-note. Wait. I called, voice slicing the salt air. Guests froze, a sea of Botox and bewilderment. Emily whipped around, horror etching her features. Chloe, not now. Now's perfect. I stepped forward, envelope in hand, passing it to the rabbi. His eyes scanned, widened. He cleared his throat. Ladies and gentlemen, he read, voice steady but laced with unease. Before we proceed to celebration, a family matter requires illumination. Murmurs swelled. Jake's face went the color of clam chowder. Mom clutched her program, whispering, "What is this?" The rabbi continued, my words scripted tight. Emily and Jacob, do you vow to honor not just each other, but the truths buried in your union? To confess the debts unpaid, the lives upended for your gain. Emily lunged for the mic. This is insane. She's lying. But I was ready. Phone out. One call queued. Not to 911. Too messy. To the New York Times tip line. A voice modulator ready. Go. I said softly, hitting send. The story I'd fed them weeks ago. Sibling betrayal. Forged docs. A father's suspicious death. Beamed live to their newsroom. Sirens wailed distant, growing. Not mine, but Ruiz's tip to the feds. Jake's laundering tied to Emily's poker debts. Fentanyl source? Traced to her consultant, a dealer in bridal whites. Chaos erupted. Guests scattering like confetti in reverse. Mom fainting into an aunt's arms. Emily clawed at my arm, nails drawing pinpricks of blood, the first real since my death. You bitch. I did it for us. For the family you abandoned. Family. I wrenched free, Voice a whip crack. You killed Dad. You killed me. This is justice, M. American as apple pie and indictments. Cops swarmed the tent flaps, badges glinting. Jake bolted, straight into cuffs. Emily sank to her knees, veil pooling like spilled milk, sobs racking as they Mirandized her right there on the monogrammed runner. I watched unmoved. The hook in my back, phantom now, dissolved in the salt wind. Twist came later. In the squad car confessions, Emily babbled to the mic. Turns out, Mom knew. Not all, but enough. The switched pills, the cover-up. For Emily's future, she'd say, trading one daughter's light for another's shadow. By kitsch. For them, yeah? Emily in orange jumpsuit. Jake in witness protection, or not. Mom in a nursing home haze, reckoning with ghosts. For me? Catharsis. I walked the beach alone, waves licking my heels, the sun dipping low. The patent? Mine forever. The startup? Relaunching bigger, with a revenge app, sibling betrayal detector, AI sharp as my memory. Second chances aren't gifts. They're weapons. And I'd wielded mine like a pro. But as twilight bled purple, a chill unrelated to the breeze hit. In the old timeline, death had been quick. Here, I'd saved myself. Yet staring at the horizon, I wondered, what if the reset wasn't mercy? What if it was just round two? Nah. I turned back to the city lights twinkling distant. Fuck wondering. Time to live. The fallout hit like a nor'easter, winds howling through the headlines and shredding what was left of our family tapestry. By Monday morning, my inbox was a war zone. TMZ embeds of Emily's perp walk, her mascara rivers immortalized in 4K. Wall Street Journal op-eds dissecting Jake's fall from grace, his bonus clawed back like a bad bet. Even Mom's bridge club, those blue hairs with their gin fizzes and gossip, blowing up her landline with "how could you?" I didn't answer calls. Not from reporters staking out my brownstone, not from distant cousins sniffing for scandal juice. Instead, I holed up in the penthouse, my penthouse now, deed reclaimed via Harlan's ninja paperwork, and plotted phase 2. Revenge isn't a sprint. It's a marathon with pit stops for therapy and tequila. First, the purge. I hired a stager to neuter the place. Emily's framed Parsons sketches yanked down, her monogrammed throw pillows torched in a backyard bonfire that probably violated half a dozen Hamptons codes. Dad's study, restored to glory, mahogany desk polished, his old jazz L-piece spinning Coltrane like a heartbeat. I sat there nights, scotch in hand, piecing together the mosaic of betrayals I'd missed first time around. Take the Europe trip. Emily's gap year frolic, funded by a $50K gift from Dad's accounts, but really a slush fund for her first poker habit. She'd called it cultural enrichment, batting lashes over FaceTime from the Amalfi Coast. Me? I'd wired extra for gelato emergencies, blind as a bat in a blackout. Or Jake, charming Jake with his Harvard dimples and microbrew obsession. In the old life, I'd set them up, blind date at my launch party, sparks flying over charcuterie. But hindsight's 20/20ths. His promotions at Goldman, built on insider tips Emily fed him, gleaned from my venture capital Rolodex. She'd played me like a Steinway, every intro a thread in their noose. And Mom, the enabler queen. Post-divorce, she'd leaned on me for rent, then pivoted to Emily's sob stories. Your sister's fragile, Chloe. Be the strong one. Fragile my ass, more like a viper in Kashmir. My phone buzzed. Harlan. Good news, kid. DA's building a case. Manslaughter on the old man, conspiracy on your incident. Emily's singing like Sinatra, blaming Jake, the dealer, even the maid. Plea deal incoming, but it'll stick. I swirled my ice, cubes clinking like handcuffs. And Mom. Accessory after. She's lawyered up, but it's thin. You want charges pressed. Did I? The by kitchen me screamed yes. Watch her wither in a cell. Pearls traded for prison gruel. But the fixer? The sister who'd buried Dad's ashes solo? Nah. Let her stew. Public shames the real sentence. He chuckled, dry as aged bourbon. You're a piece of work, Voss. Call if you need me. Voss. My maiden name, reclaimed. Chloe Voss, not whatever hyphenated hell Emily had dragged us through. Phase 2 kicked off with a boardroom coup. My startup, Voss AI, pattern recognition software that predicted market crashes like a psychic on steroids, had been my baby. In the old timeline, Emily's grab left it gutted, investors fleeing like rats from a blaze. Now, I reconvened the C-suite via Zoom, faces pixelated but attentive. Lena, my CTO with her purple-streaked hair and zero bullshit vibe. Marcus, the finance whiz who'd moonlit as my therapist. And a new hire, Sophia, a cybersecurity hawk I'd poached from Silicon Valley. Ladies, gents, I said, camera framing me against the city skyline. We're pivoting. Hard. No more playing nice with poachers. Voss AI's going fortress mode, blockchain patents, NDAs with teeth. And we're launching Kith, an app for vetting family ties. Backgrounds, financials, psych evals. Because blood? It's the original scam. Lena leaned in, pixels sharpening her grin. Love it. Monetize the paranoia. Beta test on exes first. Start with siblings. Laughter rippled, but mine was edged. They didn't know the half, the knife, the reset. To them, I was just intense Chloe, post-Valkyrie glow-up. By week's end, Kith was in dev, seed funding pouring in. Forbes wanted an interview. I demurred, leaking just enough to stoke the myth. Tech titan turns tables on Family Feud. Emily's arraignment was a circus, midday circus, paparazzi swarming the courthouse steps like flies on roadkill. I didn't attend. Why feed the beast? Instead, I sent flowers, lilies, funeral white, with a card. Bloom where you're planted, sis. Love, C. Her lawyer called that afternoon, voice oiled with faux concern. Ms. Voss? Emily's. Distraught. Says you two can work this out. Family discount on the testimony. I laughed, a bark that echoed off the penthouse beams. Tell her family's closed for business. But hey, Rikers has a great library. Self-help section's huge. Click. Cathartic, but hollow. The high of the wedding crash faded fast, leaving echoes. Nights, I'd wake gasping, back arched like the blade was real, phantom twinges mapping the wound. Therapy? I booked Dr. Hale, a no-nonsense shrink with a Park Avenue office and a penchant for Jungian deep dives. Second chances, she mused over our first session, her glasses perched like a hawk's beak, are mirrors. What do you see? Monsters, I admitted, staring at my hands. Unscarred, but clenched like claws. Mine included. She nodded, no pity. Then name them, or they'll name you. Naming came slow. Emily, envy incarnate, born 5 years after me to a mom already cracking under dad's ambition. I'd been the golden goose, coding at 12, valedictorian at 18. She, the afterthought, scraping CS and daddy's approval. The fentanyl? Not impulse, calculated, after dad cut her off for dropping out. Jake, ambition's lapdog, wedding a merger more than love. He'd proposed with a ring bought on her pilfered credit, then betted the best man for stress relief. Kith would out him in beta. Mom, the architect. Her fragile Emily narrative? A shield for her own failures. Squandered alimony on Botox and brunches, resenting my rise as a reminder of her fall. And me? The enabler. I'd built walls of money, not boundaries, letting guilt mortar the cracks. Fix it, Chloe. That's what Dad said before the pills. Echoed by Mom, by Emily's tears. I'd fixed all right, into a grave. Dr. Hale assigned homework, a letter, unsent. I wrote it on leather-bound stationery, words bleeding ink. Dear monsters, you thought me blind, but death's a hell of a lens. Emily, your knife missed the mark this time. Mom, your whispers? Exposed. Jake, your charm's as counterfeit as your vows. I paid for dreams that were nightmares. Now, I dream bigger. Without you. Forgive? Fuck that. Forget? Never. Burned it in the fireplace, ashes swirling like confetti from a party I'd crashed. Phase 3, the reunion I never wanted. Mom's release. Wait. No. Her retreat. Post-arraignment, she'd checked into a spa in the Berkshires for reflection. Translation. Hiding from the Post's Mommy Dearest splash page. 6 weeks in, she called. Voice small, stripped of its lilt. Chloe, can we talk? In person. Against Hale's boundaries first mantra, I said yes. Neutral ground. A diner off Route 7. Formica counters sticky with syrup ghosts, air thick with fry grease. She arrived in yoga pants and a hoodie. Deflated balloon of her former self, no pearls in sight. We ordered. Coffee black for me, herbal tea for her. Awkward sips, then the dam broke. I didn't know about the knife, Chloe. Swear on your father's soul. Dad's soul's why we're here. I stirred sugar I didn't need, granules dissolving like lies. The pills. You covered. Tears welled. Real ones. Crow's feet deepening. Emily said it was an accident. Overdose from his stash. I wanted to believe. Belief's a luxury for the innocent. My voice cracked. First time since the reset. You chose her. Every time. She reached across, hand hovering. I didn't pull away. I chose wrong. Both of you suffered for it. Your success? It scared me. Made me feel small. Therapy gold, but it stung. So you pitted us? Made me the villain for thriving? Not. Sob. Forgive me. Not today. I stood, tossing a 20. But call. When you're ready to own it. Driving back, Berkshire's blurring to city grit, I felt the coil loosen. Not forgiveness, accountability. Baby steps. Kith launched beta that month. App Store darling overnight. Downloads spiked. Suspicious spouses, wary in-laws. Reviews glowed. Saved my sanity. Exposed the snake in the family tree. Emily wrote from lockup. Actual letters, prison issue paper, her script shaky. I hate you, but I get it. The knife? Panic. You were taking everything back. Then, scrawled lower, sorry doesn't cut it. But it's all I got. I filed them in a drawer, unburned. Hill said keep them. Reminders, not chains. Jake? Turned state's evidence, spilling on Emily's dealer ring. Last I heard, he's in witness protection, hawking real estate in Phoenix. Good riddance. As summer bled to fall, the penthouse felt less tomb, more throne. Lena and I toasted Kith's first million at a rooftop bar, Manhattan glittering below like a promise kept. To second acts, she said, clinking her IPA to my martini. Thirds, I corrected. Lives got extras. Wind whipped, carrying salt from the harbor. No phantoms tonight, just possibility. But in quiet moments, elevator rides, solo runs along the high line. I'd flash to the blade, the blood. Wonder if the reset was done, or if fate had sequels. One night, scrolling Kith alerts, a ping. Anonymous user, flagged match. Potential sibling fraud. Profile blurred, but the query? Voss family history. Heart stuttered. Emily out on bail? Or someone new? I hit investigate. Screen glowed. Match confirmed. Not Emily. Dad. Wait. DNA hit from an old sample. Lab backlog cleared. A half-sibling? Buried secret, pre-mom. Twist upon twist. The family web, unraveling further. I leaned back, smile feral. Round 3? Bring it. The DNA bomb detonated mid-harvest moon, leaves turning trader gold outside my office window, as if the world itself was shedding skin. Kith's backend pinged at 2 a.m. I'd been burning the midnight oil, tweaking algorithms to sniff out not just financial fraud, but emotional landmines, the kind that fester like untreated wounds. The alert read, high confidence match, paternal lineage, 99.7%. Name, Elias Voss. Age, 52. Location, Seattle. Elias, Dad's middle name, the one he'd whispered in Storytime tales of his steelworker grandpa. But a brother? Half-brother? The math didn't math. Dad gone 5 years, no whispers of bastards in his wake. I dove in, caffeine 4 dripping as code flew. Cross-referenced estate docs, old emails, even Mom's throwaway lines about Dad's premarital flings. Bingo, a faded Polaroid from his desk drawer, tucked behind ledgers. Grainy shot of a younger Dad, arm around a woman with my hazel eyes, baby bundled in their laps. Back stamped, Seattle, 73. Pre-mom by a decade. The affair that broke her? Nah, this was origin story. By dawn, I traced him, Elias James Harlan. Irony of ironies, same last as my lawyer, software engineer turned barista, single dad to a tween girl named Riley. No scandals, just quiet life in a rainy suburb, profile scrubbed clean like he knew eyes might wander. Call or crash. I booked the red eye, packing light. Laptop, the Polaroid, a knot in my gut that felt like unfinished business. Seattle hit like a wet slap. Drizzle veiling the Space Needle, air crisp with pine and regret. His address led to a craftsman bungalow, porch swing creaking in the mist, coffee grinder whirring inside. I knocked, heard a bass drum. Door cracked. Elias, taller than Dad, same jawline carved from granite, eyes widening in mirror shock. Can I help you? I held up the photo, steady despite the tremor. You look like him. And me. Silence stretched thin. Christ. Chloe. He ushered me in, cluttered cozy, bookshelves groaning with sci-fi and code tomes, a half-eaten bagel on the counter. Riley was at school. Thank God. This needed no audience. Coffee brewed, black and bold, and the spill began. Your dad? Our dad. Knew. Elias said, voice gravel from disuse. Called me once, 89. Said he was proud, but married now. Sent checks till I was 18. Then nothing. I sipped, scalding. Mom never mentioned. Bitter pills. He chuckled, bitter. She found out during the divorce. Used it as leverage. Leave, or I tell Chloe about her bastard uncle. He paid up. Kept silent. Bastard. The word landed like the knife, but softer. Why now? The DNA? Kithap. Riley signed up for a school project, family tree thing. Flagged you. He rubbed his neck, Adam's apple bobbing. Thought it was spam till the match popped. Riley. My niece. The thought twisted sweet sharp. She's 13. Sharp as a tack. Wants to code like her uncle. Uncle. The word hung, potential bridge or bomb. We talked hours, Dad's stories matching, his jazz obsession, the way he'd hum, take 5, off key. Elias had followed footprints, MIT dropout for single dad duty after his wife bailed post-cancer scare. No grudges, just gaps. By pickup time, I'd met her. Freckles like mine, braces flashing in a grin. You're the app lady? Mom. Dad, says you're famous. Infamous. I corrected, ruffling her hoodie. Wanna beta test Kith 2.0? Family edition. Her eyes lit. Duh. Flight home blurred. Polaroid in my carry-on like a talisman. Elias texted, stay in touch. Voss blood's thicker than you think. I replied, proving it. Back in the grind, the half-sib revelation reframed everything. Emily's envy. Not just mine, perhaps whispers of this other family Dad buried. Mom's resentment? Deeper roots, a prequel betrayal. I looped Harlan in. The Harlan, my lawyer, who laughed till he wheezed. Small world. Elias is solid. Vetted him years back for Dad's will sniff test. Clean. Will. I pressed. Contingency clause. If you ever needed kin. He was backup. Dad's ghost, winking from beyond. Bastard planned ahead. Emily's trial loomed. November chills settling as leaves died. I testified, voice steady on the stand, painting the portrait, the loans, the lies, the blade. Jurors leaned in, faces a jury of my peers, harried moms, desk jockeys, one ex-cop with a mustache that screamed skepticism. Her defense? Sob story deluxe. Abused trust, not malice. But the fentanyl logs, the forged cigs? Ironclad. Verdict, guilty. 20 to life, eligible in 10. She didn't look at me as they led her away, head high, but shoulders slumped, the golden girl dethroned. Mom visited post-sentencing, our diner ritual upgraded to a quiet bistro. She'd aged a decade in months, hair silver-threaded, eyes hollow. It's over, she said, stirring soup she wouldn't eat. Emily's gone. Your father's gone. What's left? I set down my fork. Us? Or nothing. Pause. And Elias. Riley. Her spoon clattered. Who? The spill again. Polaroid slapped on the tablecloth. Mom's face crumpled, then hardened. That horse kid? He ruined us. No. I snapped, heat rising. Secrets did. Yours included. She deflated, whispering. I found the letters. Burn them. For you, Chloe. To protect. From what? Truth. I stood, chair scraping. You're invited to Thanksgiving. Elias's. Take it or leave. Left the cash, walked out into the frost. Boundaries, hail would beam. Kith exploded. Holiday surge. Families fracturing over turkey and truths. I keynote at TechCrunch Disrupt, stage lights hot, crowd a sea of nods. Family isn't blood, I said, mic hot in my palm. It's choice. And sometimes, cutting ties to save your soul. Applause thundered. Backstage, Lena hugged me fierce. You're a force, boss. Reckoning, I murmured. Long overdue. Winter gripped, holidays a minefield. Mom showed, tentative, in a wool coat too big, bearing pie from a bakery, not homemade. Elias's table groaned. Turkey brined in bourbon, Riley's pixel art place cards. Awkward toasts, but laughs crept in. Elias's dad jokes landing flat. Mom's stories of my toddler tantrums softening edges. Riley pulled me aside post-meal, eyes wide. Aunt Chloe, did you really call the cops on your sister? Gulp. Honesty hour. Yeah. She hurt people. Bad. She nodded, grave. Kith showed me a match too. Biomom. She's alive. In Portland. My heart clenched. Her turn at the wheel. Wanna meet? Maybe. With you. Always. New Year's dawned crisp, resolutions scribbled on napkins. Expand Kith to corporate vetting. Visit Portland spring break. Maybe date. Hale's nagging. Tinder swiped. But ghosts lingered. Trust was a casualty. Then, the call. February fog. 3 a.m. Unknown number. Ms. Voss? Detective Ruiz. Off the record. My PI the ex-Fed. Shoot. Emily. She's talking. Claims a bigger player. Someone in your circle. Harlan. Ice and veins. What? Wire transfers. To him. Pre-wedding. Says he greenlit the patent grab. Your incident? Insurance. Harlan. The shark who'd saved me. Betrayer? No. Counter. Harlan's clause for Elias. Loyalty. But doubt slithered. I called him Dawn Light. Voice steel. Emily's naming names. Yours. Paused, then sigh. Knew it'd surface. Not what you think. Explain. Now. Meeting at his club, leather armchairs, cigar haze. Harlan, silver fox fraying at temples, slid a dossier across. Your father's directive. Backup plan. If Emily moved, I fed her rope. Controlled burn. The knife? I had eyes. Ruiz pulled her back, staged the robbery to scare her straight. You dying? Glitch. My fail. Glitch? Rage boiled. You play God. Guardian. Eyes wet. Dad's will. Protect the girls. Both. Emily's poison. Contain. Not cure. I stood, dossier crumpling. Fired. And the DA gets this. He nodded. Broken. Fair. Twist. The puppet master was Dad's ghost. Strings tangled. Harlan out, but confessions filed. Accessory light. Spring bloomed. Portland trip-a-bomb. Riley's mom. Artist type. Warm without claws. No custody wars. Just coffee, shared stories, a tentative trio. Kith hit unicorn status. Board buzzing. Mom. Weekly calls. Thawing. Proud of you, Chloe. Echo of Dad. But nights. The blade twinged. Reset's gift? Or curse eternal? Summer solstice. Beach bonfire with Elias and Riley. Waves crashing judgment. I tossed the last letter fragment. Monsters, named. Flames devoured. Free. Or so I thought. The solstice fire crackled like a confessor, devouring the last scraps of Emily's scrawled apologies as the Pacific licked black sand shores, indifferent to my exorcism. Riley hooped. Marshmallows toasting golden on sticks she'd whittled herself, while Elias strummed a battered guitar. Dylan's tangled up in blue, off-key but earnest. For the first time since the reset, the phantom itch between my shoulder blades stilled, soothed by salt spray and sibling harmonies that weren't forged in fraud. But peace is fleeting in a life rebooted. July heatwave baked Seattle into a steam bath, and my inbox ignited. Acquisition offers for Kith, each fatter than the last. Google sniffing, Meta lurking like a bad ex. I fielded them from the bungalow guest room, now semi-permanent, walls papered in Riley's sketches of code-breaking superheroes. Take it, Elias advised over breakfast burritos, his engineer logic unyielding. Cash out, build something new. Ghosts don't pay dividends. Neither does running. I forked egg, yolk spilling like unspoken fears. Harlan's glitch nod. Dad's contingency as safety net turned spiderweb. What else had he buried? More half-sibs? Offshore slush for rainy days? Riley bounded in, iPad glowing. Ant C. Kith update. User flagged a Voss match. Again. My fork froze. Details. Not half. Full. Maternal. She tapped, screen blooming. Probable sibling. 48 chromosomes match. Name. Pending. Location. Unknown. Maternal. Mom's side. The Voss men were one thing. Steel spines and secrets. But her? The enabler with the pill-popping past. Her family tree a prune stump of Irish immigrants and prohibition bootleggers. I grabbed the tablet, algorithms whirring. Cross-checks. Mom's maiden name, O'Connor, yielded zilch official. But Kith's psych profile scraped socials, forums, bingo. A psych eval leak from the Berkshire's spa. Patient references suppressed sibling rivalry, abandonment trauma. Suppressed sibling. Mom had a brother? Sister? The diner confessions replayed. I chose wrong. Chosen over what? I called her direct, no preamble. Mom, who'd you leave behind? Line crackled, her breath hitching. Chloe? It's early. Truth time. Kith found a match. Your blood. Silence, then shatter. Glass, maybe a mug. Don't dig, honey. Some graves stay shut. Emily's wide open. Try me. She caved, voice fracturing like fine china. A brother. Patrick. Twin, actually. Born 65, but complicated. Complicated. Code for catastrophe. Mom spilled in fits. Dad's affair unearthed a pre-existing wound. Her own family's black sheep. Patrick, institutionalized young for delinquencies that smelled like untreated bipolar, juiced with bootleg gin from Grandpa's still. She'd fled to college, buried him in letters home, then torched them post-divorce. He wrote once, from the asylum. Begged for a visit. I couldn't. Wouldn't. Made me the monster. Twin. The fragility she projected on Emily? Mirror crack. Where is he now? Dead. 03. Overdose. Like your father. Sob. Like I almost. The cycle. Pills. Blades. Betrayals. Voss O'Connor's. Cursed or just human. I booked a red-eye to Boston, closest to the old records. Archives reeked of dust and despair. Psych ward logs yellowed. Patrick's file a litany of electroshocks and escapes. Last entry, deceased. Fentanyl self-admin. No kin notified. Fentanyl. Again. Emily's poison, sourced from shadows, but rooted here. Family specter, haunting generations. Back in Seattle, I confronted the fire anew. Not just Emily's letters, but Mom's unsent ones to Patrick, unearthed from her attic post-call. Forgive me, brother. I ran. Burned them beside mine, smoke curling questions. Was the reset Dad's doing? Or Patrick's? Cosmic intervention? Or just luck? August scorched, Kith's board pressing. Sell or scale? I scaled, global beta, tying in AI therapy bots. Hale consulted for the ethics. Healing over hunting. She zoomed, her hawk eyes approving. You're evolving, Chloe. Evolving. Therapy double sessions, dates that stuck, a barista with Elias's dimples, no red flags. Riley's summer camp, coding whiz, her app prototype a grief mapper that pinged support nets. Pride swelled, fierce. Mom visited, first time in the bungalow, tentative with a pie that didn't suck. She and Elias? Awkward orbit, but Riley bridged. Teach me bridge, Grandma. Cards shuffled, laughter tentative. Then, the ghost pinged. September equinox, my phone buzzed. Block number, voice distorted. Chloe Voss. We need to talk. About the glitch. Harlan? No, deeper timbre. Who is this? Contingency. Your father's. And Patrick's. Ice. Spill. Click. Text followed. Coordinates. A warehouse in Jersey. Trap. Or truth. Ruiz tailed me. Ex-Fed instincts screaming caution. We rolled in. Fog off the Hackensack thick as plot. Inside. Servers humming. Screens flickering family trees. Voss. O'Connor. Branches I hadn't mapped. The voice materialized. Not ghost, but live wire. A woman, 50s, sharp suit. Eyes like Mom's, haunted hazel. Aunt Lydia. Patrick's daughter. Your cousin. Twist supernova. Mom's twin had sired before the end. Lydia. Adopted out. Tracking us via Kith's public beta. Dad spoke of you. The sister who ran. Said you had a girl like him. Fire under ice. Lydia. Fixer like me, private eye turned ethicist, hired by Harlan's contingency fund. Dad's black ops slush, seated pre-death. He knew Emily's spiral. Wired me to watch. The reset? Not magic. Medicine. Medicine? She slid a vial. Clear, unmarked. Harlan's play. Experimental neural stimulant. Staged the death. Revived you pre-autopsy. Off books, illegal as hell. To scare Emily straight, like with Patrick. Glitch. Deliberate. Dad's ghost. Harlan's hand. Lydia's eyes. Conspiracy of care. Why tell now? Emily's appeal. She's lawyering up, claiming you faked it all. Kith evidence. Tainted. By Kitch Redux. But armed now. I rallied. Mom looped in, tearful alliance. Elias crunching code for counterforensics. Riley, oblivious, designing truth shields. Trial 2. Appeals Court. October chill seeping through marble halls. Emily, gaunt and civvies, her lawyer a slickster spinning, coerced confession. My stand. Vile evidence suppressed. But testimony thundered. Lydia's files. Mom's recant. Even Jake via video link. Snitching from Phoenix Purgatory. Judges huddled. Gavels poised. Verdict. Affirmed. Emily's eyes met mine across the bar. Defeat. But a flicker. Understanding. Post-trial. The family fused. Thanksgiving 2.0. Full table. Lydia's stew joining Mom's pie. Elias's blues on Spotify. Toasts to ghosts. To Patrick. To second, third, chances. Winter waned. Kith IPO whispers. I dated steady. Barista Ben. With his easy laugh and no skeletons. Hale declared. Integrated. But the resets echo? Faded scar, not wound. Spring equinox. Beach again. Full circle. Riley, taller, tossed the first match. For the ones we choose to let go. Flames rose, devouring doubts. I stood, wind-whipped, alive. Twist final, no more. Just forward. Chloe Voss, reborn not once, but endless. Empire intact, heart mended. And if fate dialed again, I'd answer laughing.